has been over a month since I decided to launch this wicked wild thing called Briggs & Co. I've been leaving Average for Joe since, honest to goodness, Mom, thank you for your patience, because I think it started the day I walked out onto this universe. I was wearing clothes that I think I pulled from older sister Jordan's closet, middle sister Channing's closet, but then also middle brother's closet as well. And then perhaps Mom's and Dad's mixed in, some barrettes, some hairspray. I was a wild child. I was quirky. I still am. I always had this interesting, unique outlook on everything. My entrepreneurial side kicked in real young. I'm talking popcorn subscriptions, golf ball painted custom products for your golf bag. And y'all, this was back in when you would set up a lemonade stand on your driveway and start selling juice. No, I didn't decide to sell juice. I straight up sold popcorn subscriptions because I got a popcorn machine for Christmas one year, and I called it Hear the Pop. Let me say that again. I called it Hear the Pop. As in, here is the popcorn, so I spelt it H-E-R-E. And another item I launched at the end of my driveway, thanks Mom, thanks Dad, was custom golf balls painted by yours truly. I don't really know where this all came from. I truly think I walked out of the womb with a very interesting outlook on life and how to approach things right out of the gate. And so I think I say that because I launched this podcast with the tagline, Leave Average for Joe. And I think if you are an individual that wants to push yourself or know of somebody, if you're raising a child or you have a friend or a family member that just approaches life in a different way and is pushing themselves beyond the average, you're not alone. And I think it's important to lean into that, because I almost wish I leaned into it a little bit more as I started to go into junior high, into high school. Those quirks, those unique character traits, those interests that I had when I was younger started to fade and dwindle because of the common, straight and narrow path that I tried to follow. I tried to blend in a little bit more, as you do, as you find yourself in your adolescence. But hindsight, I think leaning into my quirks a little bit more earlier on could have been beneficial. But here we are. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, right team. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, always in life. But I think it's important just to stop and reflect. And that is what I'm doing in this episode of Briggs & Co. I want to dive into some of my highlights. As an 18-year-old, 18, 19, 20, I would say, when I really did take that leap of faith into pushing myself in the entertainment and the arts world. So as I've mentioned previously before, I went 1 year to the U of A and studied history. Truly thought I was about to be the world's best historian, especially in Latin American history. Bless my sweet self. Quickly realized, not for me, friend, not for me. And as you know, or if you don't, I started to really travel, hit the road traveling, auditioning, and all that stuff. But before I get ahead of myself, I want to make a quick note on how important and how pivotal assisting was for me. So I think my advice for anyone that is still in high school, take an opportunity to look at the conventions or events or classes or workshops, whatever it is that you're attending. And this isn't just for dance. This is for any sport, any sort of extracurricular activity that you pursue because you have a passion for it and you have interest in perhaps pursuing it professionally. I also think what I'm about to say builds tremendous character, something that is unmatched. So my biggest advice here is find opportunities, take a look at where you can offer assistance to those that are leaders, instructors, guides in whatever activity you're doing. So for me, I'm speaking to dance because when I was 15, 16, 17, I took every opportunity that presented itself to become an assistant. And it is the most rigorous, tremendously physically demanding and mentally demanding, I think, task, especially at that age, that you can put yourself in. But again, it builds character. It builds that brain muscle, that body muscle for you to adapt quickly to choreography, to accommodate to the instructor and choreographer, to be able to read rooms, to get out of yourself, because I think sometimes when we are doing activities, again, I'm going to speak towards dance, when we are dancing and picking up choreography at the rate that we do because it's so fast, we tend to just go inwards and we forget that we are in rooms with a lot of other people. When we are more specifically in conventions or these workshops, and then of course when you start to travel around the world and take these classes, the rooms get big and there's a lot of people fighting for attention, and we can turn inwards and shut off our blinders, or have blinders, and shut off our sort of outlook. And I think pushing yourself towards assisting roles is crucial. It was for me. So briefly, I assisted over 6 national conventions. And of course, the multiple just summer intensive workshops and drop-in classes. And I'm not saying that you have to do it for free, but team, you're going to have to do some things for free. You're going to have to build that cred. And that's just the way it is, because I don't think, and I'm going to pause and correct myself and emphasize the fact that it's free in terms of you're not going to gain financial, you're not going to gain a paycheck, but you are going to gain tremendous, valuable knowledge, experience, and there is something in that. Same as you would do a practicum in college. You're not getting paid to do that practicum, but you're building your resume, you are building a name for yourself in the industry. And so, again, I want to just emphasize the fact that I'm speaking towards the dance industry specifically, but I don't think this is just for dancers. I think this is for anyone that's interested in sports and extracurriculars, anything like that. Offer yourself as an assistant, or if they are okay with it, maybe they don't need your assisting per se, like your physical body there showing choreography, because some instructors like to just do that on their own, and that's fine. But at least offer yourself as a helping hand in any way possible. So maybe that's just playing and pausing the music. Maybe it's running around, getting waters, checking in with the room, helping out with the stretches, whatever it is. It might not be an option available for you with every opportunity you put yourself in, but at least be open to offering yourself, because I think that will open doors up. people become aware of you faster. They love, I want to speak to the industry leaders, the choreographers, the ones that hire and fire, the ones that book, the directors, all of this stuff. They become aware of you more if you're putting yourself out there in a way that your friends and your peers are not doing. They begin to notice you a lot faster. You begin to build strong industry connections. It is a big thing that I want to emphasize. So again, I had the opportunity of assisting over 6 national conventions. And some of those are familiar ones like Fusion Dance Camp, which is an excellent, excellent camp in the summer, hosted by Tammy and Jocelyn in British Columbia. And so look into that because they bring in some incredible individuals and leaders in this world, in this industry, and it's a super fun experience. Triple Threat Dance Convention, iDance 5, 6, 7, 8. It was a great opportunity for me, and it, again, just built a lot of character. So that is a big piece of advice that I want to give. And then I want to sort of switch gears a little bit because I want to talk about my time sort of post-assisting. And then I started to implement, traveling to auditions around the world and not just locally. So, of course, I would attend all local auditions, any sort of cruise ship ones. But I was born and raised in Edmonton, Alberta, and auditions here are few and far between. So, of course, I had to travel to Vancouver, New York, LA, London, Ireland, all of this stuff. And I want to touch on my favorites and my my shockingly unfavorite, good wording, audition experience. So I guess there isn't really a linear path that I'm going to take here, but I remember when I was 18 living in Vancouver and I had my agent who was sending me to some non-union, because I was non-union at the time, because to get your union membership, you have to have some experience, some set experience that has credits, and then yada, yada, yada. You have to build your way up to getting accepted into the union. Anyways, I didn't have that quite yet, so I was non-union, and I had a submission for a commercial, and they were asking for a dad and daughter duo. Team, shout out to Papa Gibbons. He flew out to Vancouver. We stayed in my downtown van apartment, and the experience that we had, we showed up to this audition. Nose buddies for life, I'm telling you. We shouldn't be allowed in a room together because if you listen to the episode, that was PG-13. But it's a unique relationship, as you can imagine. And we took the piss out of the audition. Pardon my français, but the casting director was so serious. And of course, we're in the room. It's a little lobby, tiny little lobby, and you have your headshot. Dad didn't have his, because why would he have a headshot? And we're sitting in the lobby just looking at our competitors, if you will, at the other attendees. And no one there is an actual father-daughter duo. But how could you not, right? It's like, if you can bring your dad to an audition, you best believe you're doing it. So brought Papa Gibbons with me, and we stood in the room, and they were so, why do people have to be so serious? I don't think it helps I think it does in some situations, but lighten the load, crack a joke, have some fun. None of that was happening. So Dad and I took the initiative, of course, beat red faces, but we absolutely smashed it. Was ready for the callback. Obviously that didn't happen, or else we'd be in Hollywood right now, but that's okay. It was an experience nonetheless, and one that I will cherish forever. I can't believe Dad joined me for a commercial audition. But we absolutely nailed it. It was actually, I think I can say it now, but it was for Apple, and it was, I don't know what year it was exactly, but it was for an iPhone, I think maybe iPhone 10. And we had to pretend like I was walking the dog. That's what it was. I had to walk it was on camera. I was walking the dog, with a imaginary leash in hand, and I decided to call my dad, FaceTime dad, and it was just a mirror, so like I wasn't actually looking at a phone, and I had to give him a reaction, and then it panoed to dad answering the phone and his face and blowing up with a reaction, and my dialogue was, "Hey dad, just wanted to let you know that I submitted myself to whatever X college and I got accepted and I move out in August." And then it panoed to dad's face, and I think it was like, "You can feel the emotion through the screen," sort of thing. Oh, did we feel emotions? So many emotions. Followed that audition with a tremendous Cactus Club, Yale Town happy hour, of course. And then dad zipped out of town the next day. That was a career, an audition high for me for sure. One of my other sort of exciting dad auditions would have been for Disney Cruise Lines in New York. I stayed at a hostel downtown because y'all know I'm not paying an arm and a leg for that. And the hostel, it was Christmas time because it was, the night before the Rockefeller tree went up. And the hostel had cardboard walls. Wish I was joking. I wish I didn't have these shocking stories. And in fact, it was a fiction novel that I was writing, but it's not the case, and here I am to tell you. It was a hostel that had cardboard walls, and my audition, I had to be there at, I think it was like 7:30 a.m., and I flew in, landed at 9 p.m., got to the hostel, checked in, got to the hostel, checked in, and ended up like crashing around midnight. But midway through my slumber, the walls caved in, the cardboard buckled, and left wall fell on me. There was a rowdy crowd in the hostel in the setup beside me, and decided to take out their anger on the wall. And I woke up without an alarm, let's just say, that day. And then audition was fun. Audition was a fail in the sense that job wasn't booked, but loved that experience as well. Another one was the Cirque du Soleil audition. I went to Cirque twice. First one was a few years ago. I can't remember the exact year. And I had to fly to Vegas. It wasn't closed. It was open to the public. So there was a lot of people there. And it was a good experience for me. It was at Millennium there. Actually, that's what it was. It was at Millennium. And you can get very easily washed into the crowd if you do not buck up and stand out above the rest. Like, I wouldn't say reach as far as some of the outfits that were showcased, but hey, friends, they got the attention. Like, if it's a little nipple cover and a little itty bitty thing that you're wearing on your lower half, and that's how you want to present yourself, go hard, girlfriend. Not me, personally, not me. Did it make them stand out? Absolutely. Was it a specialty act that perhaps they were going for? I'm going to go with yes. Do I know if they were booked? I'm not sure. Either way, pick a little way that you can stand out. Maybe it's a nipple tassel. Don't suggest it just because of the family-orientated show that Cirque is. But hey, you do you. I decided to go with a little more conservative route. It was just a simple lilac-colored legging with a white bra top. Didn't stick out enough. that is fine. And that's the reality of it is, I think at that point, when you're starting to go to these auditions, 99% of the characters of the individuals in the room are talented enough. It's just what is your unique quality that will allow you to stand out above the rest. So lessons learned, and then I went back and I had to do a little pre-video submission to get accepted to audition number 2, because that was actually on the MJ stage. I can't remember what hotel that is. Good for me. And this was 2 years ago. It was an absolute wonderful experience. That one I actually did with Billy. And it was rigorous. One of the harder auditions I've ever done. Fast pickup of the choreography. We did tidbits of the MJ show. That was challenging. You did ballet, musical theater, jazz, funk, hip hop, back to back, and just round after round after round after round. There was probably 200 of us, and it was open to submissions from around the world. So lots of people from Australia, London, Canada, US, Latin America. But unfortunately, that year they were focusing on hiring. It was right around COVID, and they didn't have the budget for, I think, getting people visas, something along the lines of that. And they were only looking for U.S. Citizens or, O1 visa holders, because they didn't want to go through the process of getting those. It's unfortunate. And that I'm speaking only to the dancer role. It was different for acrobats and all of that. But, and that's the reality of this industry. You can be as talented as the day is long, but sometimes it's just completely out of your control. Comes down to some logistics, comes down to dotting the I's, crossing the T's. So make sure if you are doing auditions for anything, or, doing the interviews, or doing going through the process, and you're really, really wanting a role, a job, make sure that you're also aware of the constraints that are there out of your reach. Because you can easily just get too heavy, get too into your head about how you failed, how you did the wrong thing, how you didn't look good, how you need to, drop weight or whatever it is, change your hair color, dress differently, all of this stuff. At the end of the day, there's a lot of factors to be considered, and those should be considered. Anyways, I digress. Boring. No, I'm just joking. Another one that I have written down here is my Team Canada audition. So I was a young gaffer, 16 years old, I think, and eager. This is at a point in my life where I was heavy into hip hop. I didn't really grow up with a heavy hip hop program at my studio. It was more just like a cute little, competition group that we did. But 16, I dove headfirst. I loved it. I ate it up. I was in so many crews around the city, and started to go to like hip hop specific conventions. And I auditioned for Team Canada Hip Hop. And that audition was hard. That was a push. Paul Otterbein led that one that year. And he's wicked. He's a great figure in the community. I landed, obviously got on the team, and we traveled to Graz, Austria that year. And I had the opportunity to compete in a battle round as a duet, as a soloist, and as a specialized battle crew. I'm dying because growing up, my favorite movie, and I'm not going to lie, my favorite movies now are still them, but I loved the Step Up franchise, and I loved Stomp the Yard. Like, I'm talking Briggs as a 8, 9, 10-year-old, like hoodie on head, baggy sweatpants, watching it on DVD player, like getting in the zone, you name it. That Step Up with Channing Tatum, see you later. Name a better movie. I will wait. In fact, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing that this evening. I'm putting it back on, and it's going on the DVD player. It just has to, right? A little throwback. If you haven't seen it, Step Up. I think it was 1 or 2. Channing Tatum. Man, that was good. Anyways, I had the vision of that vibe, like dungeon, sort of underground warehouse vibe, balls to the wall. I'm not gonna lie, I actually think it was almost worse. It was in Austria, and we were in a huge arena, and it was like cattle, like in an open field. You had your number, and you had to run out, find your spot where you could grab the judge's attention. Music was open, so you set yourself up with a steady BPM, and you were given your choreography by your choreographer. I think it was like you had, I don't know, maybe, I want to say like 32 counts. And if they didn't cut you, like they would literally point at you and go like, next. You were battling, trying to literally battle your way through to the middle of the room and up to the judge's table. And if they didn't cut you, you made it to the next round. And I think I made it to like round 2 or 3. And so I landed in like the top 8. Didn't place in the top 3, which is fine, but that experience was like, and like nothing I could ever explain. And then we had our duet, same thing, battling together, like elbows to the face, Charlie horses, you name it, rough and tough. And then we had our large group and our small group. And that experience was it was like a world, it was world stage, world-class competition, the best of the best. And I look back on that just with awe of the talent in that arena that day. And the training process, I think it was from like July to November. We trained hard. And that's a moment I will cherish forever. And family supported me, friends supported me, raised funds. Ooh, that was good. If you have the chance to audition for your country's team in any way, take advantage of that. And I want to emphasize once again the importance of putting yourself in rooms that make you feel icky. I've said this in a podcast episode before, but I think narrowing down, I looked down on these, on this sheet where I listed off audition experiences, highs and lows, and these moments that I put myself in were the most uncomfortable moments of my life, but they caused friction in a mental capacity and a physical capacity. So it doesn't have to be this drastic, but I want you to think about any sort of experience you've had where in the moment you want to be anywhere else but there. You might have just tried a new program, a new workout class, or a new college course, or you just left your job and started a new one, or you left your job and didn't start a new one. Whatever it is, you're exploring this uncomfortable, like honestly, it's almost nauseous feeling, and you have no idea what's going to come out of it, but you're there anyways. If I were to sort of take a little analysis on my experience with these auditions, is if I didn't do them, if I didn't go through that friction, through that uncomfortable moment, I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am today, and I wouldn't have the outlook that I have now. So assume, I don't want to say assume failure, but assume that things are going to be uncomfortable. And I think teach the younger ones that, and the younger generation listening, don't go into rooms thinking that you're going to walk away with rainbows and butterflies. Think, this is a rigorous, this is a challenging, it doesn't have to be physically, but it's going to challenge me. And I might not book the job, but the learning opportunity here is invaluable. So I think sometimes we set ourselves up not for failure, but we can just put such a heavy load on our shoulders by expectations. And I think just by getting yourself in the room or enrolling yourself in the program or taking a step back on your current job to launch yourself in a new job, whatever it may be, just by taking that step is enough, because you've just added an element of friction to your life that you didn't have before. And I promise you that element of friction in your life is growing your mental muscles and your physical muscles so that your future self will have the confidence and the experience to land success in whatever way you measure that in the future. And I don't even mean to be cheesy. It's literally just the name of the game. Like, put yourself in things you haven't done before, thoughts you haven't considered before, meet people you've never met before, ask questions you never asked before, take the initiative to go tap someone on their shoulder and say, hey, how can I help you today? I'm a dancer, and this is just in my personal experience. I'm a dancer. I would love to be able to offer my time. Can I play the music? Can I walk around the room and assist? Whatever it is. Deep down, you're shriveling up. You want to puke because that's really uncomfortable and it's nerve-wracking, and you'll probably get some judgment from peers, from colleagues, from friends, and that is natural. That's natural. But that friction is what we love. We love it. And you start to get used to it. Trust me, I'm starting to get used to it, to the point where I'm like, Briggs, my friend. Briggs, my friend. It's okay. It's okay. Anyways, I digress. I just wanted to take this opportunity to share a little bit more about my experiences and uncover some of the tools that I maybe didn't realize at the time that I was adding to my tool belt. But now, hindsight, those tools are added because I did those things. So I hope you gained something from this episode. If anything at all, you've gained the knowledge that I love my unique, quirky self, although it put me in some interesting, challenging positions. And I wish I leaned into it a little bit more during my adolescence. But here we are, just simply taking a little review. And the purpose of this is to give and share my experiences to up-and-coming generations, but also to anyone that might find this knowledge applicable to their day-to-day lives today. So this was another blast. It was short, it was sweet, it was cute. I am so happy to hear the feedback that I've been hearing. I hope that the guests I bring on are offering some insights, some advice, some funny tidbits into an industry that isn't too well known, I think, to the public. But either way, it's fun for me, and I hope it's fun for you. Man, that's the point of life, right? Having some fun along the way. So it's been a pleasure, an absolute joy. I have some wicked guests on board this next few months. So stay tuned for the guest list. I'll be launching that on my social media, Briggs_and_co. Team, have a wonderful day. This was great. Hey, leave average for Joe. Take care.